to the Digital Afterlife of Grief. I am your host, Ginger Lou, and I will be talking about creating an AI photorealistic digital afterlife, such as AI avatars, deathbots, to do with grief, the creation of an AI essence. As you probably know if you've listened to me or read about the stuff that I've written, I do write about trying to create an AI essence from using some of the death tech that is available, including chatbots, AI avatars, video avatars, specific death tech companies, and using the AI technology that's available for use in other industries such as business, and trying to do something that we all want to do when we're trying to hang on to the people that we've lost, is trying to find their essence. We have done this in the past with still photographs. In fact, we've done it for the last 150 years. And this need to do this, try and find the essence of our loved ones, that specific, unique characteristic that makes them who they are, the essence of who they are. We've been trying to do that for probably longer, actually, than the invention of photography, and which just goes to prove that people don't change, only the technology does. So I interviewed Barnaby Takacs. He's a PhD and part of FFP Productions, about his latest project, Maria. There is a film that's come out this year about Maria Callas as well. The Maria Callas 100th Anniversary Challenge, in fact, is what I interviewed about him. He actually forwarded me some information on this, and it was really interesting because he was creating photorealistic replicas, as it were. Obviously, his technology is more advanced. There's a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to do these things. These are for actually big feature films, something that's obviously a bit different from technology that I use, but it's coming from the same need, is creating the essence of somebody, and with this, it's the essence of one of the most famous singers in the 20th century, Maria Callas. So this, the Maria Callas 100th Anniversary Challenge, set out to fill a virtual theatre with an audience of synthetic humans or digital twins for a virtual concert that coincided with the release of the Hollywood movie Maria. The creation of a photorealistic Maria Callas and her audience aimed to demonstrate how synthetic humans could be used to captivate audience in, I quote, visually stunning, emotionally moving, inclusive ways, end of quote. FFP Productions' goal was to explore 3D production technologies and different motion capture technology tools to build synthetic humans that can accurately and realistically replicate human movements, facial expressions, and voice, to create and publish more believable and realistic characters. What drew me to the project was the use of low-resolution images taken from the internet to create the likeness of the singer, and Takacs' use of the term essence when describing the outcomes of this project. Yeah, so this really drew me because, this technology costs a lot of money. It's for big feature films. It's not something that's for everyday use that you or I could use. But what was fascinated about me by it, and why I wanted to interview Takacs and why I wanted to write about it and talk about it, was because the basis of the images that they were using, it was actually images from the internet, those everyday images that we find when we were Googling, in this case, Googling Maria Callas to see what was out there. So with that, not necessarily high resolution, but, high enough to be used for this. But I mean, I was expecting this, absolutely amazing basis of how they use their images, but it was stuff off the internet. So with that in mind, it made me inspired my project even more, from using the same kind of images that we can use off the internet or through our own archives with family photographs and things like that. The Myriad demo demonstrated how stable diffusion could reimagine a person from any angle, style and environment by using text commands, by translating images into words and transforming those words by, I quote, capturing their essence, they create the new meanings before turning back to images again, end quote. This creates photorealistic renderings of the face, which are then imported back to 3D film pipeline, which estimates head shape, layering the extra information needed for virtual production to reimagine Maria Callas for a 21st century audience that engages with the past. Tackett's future predictions for this technology are AI-generated 3D-looking images, imagined, not rendered, diffusion model content that is generated on demand and evolves in real time based on our desire. So you can see where that's going, and you can see why I have had an interest in that, because with that last few sentences, you can see that we are going to be creating replicas of our dead loved ones with that technology. We desire to bring back to life our deceased loved ones. That's the desire. It's written in philosophy for centuries, this desire, the term desire, to see our loved ones again, to have something that belongs to them, for us to remind them of. Then it was the photograph, and now it's a chatbot or an avatar. FFP Productions also created photorealistic virtual humans to represent future faces in the metaverse called metahumans. Photographic headshots are rendered at variable lighting conditions in real time. The sequence demonstrates racial diversity and different appearances, changes in skin color, hairstyles, and facial shape. The aim of the artificial face recognition and search algorithm of photorealistic virtual metahumans was to create a visual prediction of future faces in the metaverse. This really echoed a National Geographic article from the 1990s, which I found in my father's autobiography notes, and I actually remember looking at it at the time back in the 90s with my dad and him going through it as well. It showed the composite facial features of a future multiracial America. And this was of interest to him because he's biracial. My father is biracial, English and Chinese. He had an American education, so part of his family are in America, China, and England. So we're a very international family, and I was born in the US and brought up in the UK. Very international family, and so this interest of, what the face of America would look like, lots of multiracial features and things like that, which I've tried to use in my work too, trying to get that. If you've actually seen what I look like, I am quarter Chinese, but I have red hair and blue eyes. So the Irish is strong in my family for sure. Well, with me anyway, I'm the only redhead. So transferring the technology from both of these examples for my practice had some issues. Synthetic humans have development problems such as inconsistent data integration and quality from different sources. Creating a synthetic human or digital twin for my practice was not only labour intensive, requiring engineering skills, but also costly. Using low resolution images from different sources to create photorealistic versions of myself was the takeaway from this project. I therefore took my practice in a different direction. Instead of creating a synthetic human of my persona, which by definition seemed far removed from the technology used to create a visual story or legacy of my life, I curated a fusion of technologies that reflected the historical use of still photography in identity representation. Photographic technology has captured moments in my life and situated my standing within the family and the wider world. It made sense to use the images in my archive to create a legacy persona with AI technology. By fusing the passive still images from the family archive with AI animated video and synthetic voice synthesis, could I create the story of my life for future generations that represented my true essence, creating perhaps a posthumous essence that could help or hinder the bereaved? So what I mean by that is that, I was doing lots of these experiments, and this technology, as I said, was, there's a sharp learning curve. It doesn't mean that, it's something that I wouldn't be able to do, but it is, it's an engineering skill. It's it's a really hands-on computer expert kind of skill. And, that kind of, was completely opposite to, this relationship to photography. Yes, photography at the beginning was a skill that only a few skilled people knew how to do, but then it evolved into this everyday thing. And as you will know, if you're interested in AI and generative AI, you will know that in a short space of time, similar to the way that photography evolved, that there are now applications where everyone can use them. You don't have to be an expert to use it. These applications will do it for you. And so that's what's happened. And so this is what interests me, because, all right, so I'm not an engineer. I don't have millions of pounds or dollars to create something. But now that the technology is caught up with my ideas let's do the, every day, I should say not the technology, it's the market actually, it's market driven, isn't it? So as this technology is used in everyday business, every day, every work, everywhere, you can do AI presentations now. You don't need a real person. You can just create a video avatar and make a presentation that way. And you can create a copy of your voice and things like that. And it's so easy to do. That wasn't available last year. It's available now. So that's how far it's come on. And so keeping in this mind this connection with photography, there's always this connection with photography revolution, and now we're in the AI revolution. This is how big it is. We've had lots of little revolutions in between. Obviously, using computers is a revolution as well. But this, going from on television, these kind of revolutions, but photography, it's so much a part of our lives. It's used as our identity, isn't it? It's used as to represent the family. It's used to show that we've been places and things like that. Now photography will continue to do that, but now we've got AI to do certain things as well. Specifically, remember who we are, remember our dead loved ones. So, as I said, now this technology is as caught up, the market is caught up, it's cheap and easy to use, it's an everyday technology, just like photography is an everyday technology. This is where my work has gone to, using this kind of everyday technology. So with that in mind, as I said, I took my practice in a different direction. Instead of creating a synthetic human of my persona, which by definition seemed far removed from the technology used to create a visual story or legacy of my life, I created a fusion of technology that reflected the historical use of still photography and identity representation. To create my digital afterlife of posthumous essence, I used deep nostalgia, licensed by the genealogy site MyHeritage, and the AI conversational video platform with 11 Labs AI synthetic voice software. The content framework was created with family snaps and Facebook images from my archive, stage studio self-portraits, and video stills. I authored the text, which was fed into a synthetic voice software to create an AI version of my voice, which was used to narrate 15 video sequences. Each sequence is created by a deep learning process with two main stages. First, it recognizes its face in a frontally posed photograph, and second, it applies a video driver that animates the face. Deep Nostalgia's company website sets out to distinguish itself from deepfake applications that manipulate software design. I quote, to deceive or mislead viewers by using bad faith actors for personal approbation, close. And invites users to only upload photographs of their deceased ancestors, declaring that deep nostalgia brings, I quote, ancestors back to life, end of quote. The platform makes further claims for providing services that search for personality identity, historical provenance, and primary kinship. And, open quote, experience your family as never before, end quote. DID founder Gilda Yaffet claims that deep nostalgia provides, he says, new ways to allow people to connect to their family history. So I uploaded a selection of still photos from my archive with me as the solo subject of the images. And I've done that because of ethics, really, rather than using my family. And also they'd hate me if I did that anyway. You got to be, you've only got one family, so you've got to be careful of these things. So this is why I've used myself. So these unique and personal images taken together should represent a snapshot of my identity. Instead, the AI software created a set of uniform animated expressions. These expressions are based on a data source of pre-recorded driver videos of 20 MyHeritage employees. Deep Nostalgia constitutes a new indexical generated hybrid, combining two different indexicalities, the historical photograph, which indexically registered the faces of those in the past in the pre-photographic scene, and of the video, which has indexically registered the facial expressions and movements of MyHeritage employees. Therefore, technology diminishes individual difference, perhaps also essence. So what I'm saying is, this claims that you can create, a family like you've never seen before, or bring back your family back to life. But the technology they're using is based on just a few employees from their own business. So this is why when I uploaded my dad to this, he had this very effeminate, dip movement, and he had this really scary grin. So it wasn't really successful. And then when I did it for my mum, she also had this really big grin, which also made her look a bit crazy. So I'm not sure it really works on people that you know, because it just makes them look weird. But, when you're doing it on, if you found a bunch of Victorian photographs of people you don't know, you found them from a thrift store, and you upload it, then it looks magical, because, you have no idea what these people were like when they were alive. So bringing them back that way, it looks magical. But when it's your own family, it just looks a little bit weird, I have to say. So in two of the video sequences, the synthetic voice synthesis fails to accurately replicate my voice, and reminds the viewer that despite the remarkable capability of this new technology, AI can't hide from the complexities of being human. But by the way, I've got clips of what I'm talking about on my Medium, Substack, and website, which you can find links to on this podcast post. Victorian post-mortem photography created the illusion of the dead as sleeping, denying death. Deep nostalgia denies death through the illusion of wakeful animated people. Deep nostalgia presents a hybrid of photography and moving images that questions our cultural perception of the still photograph as death and movement as life. The photograph is the past frozen in time that has been. Deep nostalgia is a stillness death versus motion life, an animated stillness, an animated death. Animation is Latin for soul and life. Deep nostalgia is a performance animation that simulates action. Deep nostalgia brings family photographs to life like magic. It even uses a wonder icon while users wait for the photograph to be transformed. Photography in the 19th century was also thought to be some form of magic, a technology that blended science and the spiritual to create an optical illusion, such as the popular spirit photographs of the time. Barthes describes photography as an emanation of past reality, a magic, not an art. Deep nostalgia creates the impossible as real, giving animated photographs of the dead imaginative and emotional power and a desire to see our dead relatives return to the living. Deep nostalgia is a mashup of chronological time, being neither a still photograph from the past nor a moving image of the present, an uncanny valley of epic proportions. The uncanny is frightening because it is an unknown, yet familiar. Deep nostalgia is the presence of the restless dead in motion. Does grieving return to the present when death returns to the present tense? The driver videos create movement in still photos, creating a sense of presence, a presence through movement. While the still photo represents a specific ancestor, the final animation does not, since the facial expressions attached by the driver video originated from MyHeritage employees. It creates universalism for a tiny data set and overrides familiar individualism, essence, and standardizing identity. Big tech creates a universal generic identity, generic facial expressions, animations as generalizations, idea types. Deep nostalgia and other tools show how algorithmic culture is being produced and how photo-based AI software is used as an existential medium. By watching our ancestors come technologically alive, it gives the bereaved self-reference for their existence and a reflection of presence and limited existence. When life and death are mediated online, there is a digital visual desire to overcome death, limit situation of human mortality, part of a wider cultural phenomenon of big tech intervening and controlling temporality and infinite human existence. The algorithmic culture of AI-driven technology offers a concrete visual performance of how deeply seated human longings can be addressed and expressed through systems of computational imaging. Algorithmic technologies articulate existential human desires and cultural forms of human existence, and further research is needed to investigate how death is constructed, negotiated, and managed by and through media technology in the 21st century, technology that automates and supplants human emotional response and imagination. If limit situation is the death boundary of existence, how is AI technology devised to represent and overcome death? Jasper defends death as a limit situation, a consciousness of death that threatens life. Digital media has shaped the material and symbolic world we inhabit, creating a new digital limitation or digital limit situations. Photography-based AI software like Deep Nostalgia is an existential medium. Watching our ancestors technologically come back to life provides a self-reference to our existence through relation and our limit situation. With digital networks and AI, there is a shift in identity once the person has died and for those left behind to mourn. Introducing the deceased back into the grieving process means that digital identity is often co-constructed. The shift in who controls the grieving process, whereas Facebook group pages are created by human users, such as a family member or a friend who posted memories in the form of images, videos, and text, AI death tech companies are directing humans to a formula of identical posthumous identity making. A one-size-fits-all created by small data sets and standardized questions, therefore controlling posthumous digital identity. My practice aims to create my essence using death tech company software, photorealistic applications, grief bots, and synthetic audio to ascertain if a posthumous essence accurately reflects the living after they are deceased and discover the implications for grieving and the bereaved. Will I be successful? I don't know. I'm up to 15 videos at the moment, as I've just talked about. And I've got a long way to go, and I will keep going and keep sharing my work and keep using the new technology that's being used in all these different applications. Thanks for listening. Take care.